Hey friends, you hear that noise? It's the birds singing. Oh look, one of the calendulas are open. It's exciting. You might hear it from my voice. I am still suffering from pollen issues. I was doing some yard work on Wednesday, and Tuesday night I had a mold exposure, and it has turned into this. So I'm coughing, and I was sneezing a lot. I'm not sneezing anymore. The homeopathy took care of that, but the coughing is still happening. So it's been raining. We had torrential downpours Wednesday night, and then off and on yesterday. So on top of the coffee and the sneezing, I had a migraine, vertigo, and I was nauseous. So today I feel a little bit better, so I figured let me show you the progress we have. It's not as much as I would like, but again, when you're doing it on your own, it takes a bit longer. So we have most of the squash and melons planted out. This is the first year we're going to try them in the grow bags because we have such issues with squash borers. I did treat the area over there for squash borers. I'm going to treat it again before we plant the cucuzzi and the tromesino. They have to be direct sowed. We've got some peppers here. Some flowers were able to be planted out last weekend. This is a different type of chamomile. This is its second year and it's blooming. So I don't remember what type it is. It's not German or the Roman traditional. We've got blooms on our feverfew, which no matter how many leaves I ate, no matter how many remedies I took yesterday, I could not get rid of this cough or the migraine. So it was a doozy. We had 3 or 4 different fronts passing through, and this is what happens when you live on an island, which is why I would like to move off the island and move west when there are less haphazard fronts. So if you live west, could you update me on your weather status? And if you have lots of crazy fronts, unfortunately I had to pull all this wild lettuce because it was filled with aphids, which is great because it like trapped the aphids on there, but so it didn't go on my rose bushes, but I don't want to take the chance. The poor peonies got annihilated with all the rain, and it was really hot, so they're not looking so great. Unfortunately, I did miss showing you the peak peony time of my peonies, but I did get some irises dug out of here. I gave them to a friend so I could plant these blueberries that I dug up from my mom's house. We're hoping they will do better here. So these are the last of the peonies, the last of the irises. You might have seen in the last video the Baptista and this huge peony flower. Yeah, like the yellow one was wrapping up too. So I cleaned all of this out, which was last week. So I have just been in the pollen. Even though we've had a lot of rain, the pollen has not really gone away. And so my body is a little more sensitive than most people's. And the pollen did bother me a lot more this year than it has in the past. And even with taking the remedies, it's kind of settled in my chest now. So it's not great, but we're still sticking with it. We're resting more, taking remedies. I drank a lot of bone broth this morning because yesterday I didn't have appetite. The strawberries have been actually producing well. This is the little screen contraption the engineer of the house built to keep the squirrels and the birds out. These are mostly white strawberries. They actually taste like cotton candy. I mean, I haven't had cotton candy in probably more than 20 years, but that's what it reminds me of. You could see that everything is kind of exploding in here because of the rain, which is good and bad. So this here looks like portulaca, but it's not. It's pearlsane. It's related. But I let it grow, one, because it creates a natural mulch for my garden, and also it's very high medicinal qualities. It's rumored to be anti-cancer. It's high anti-inflammatory. You can see the onions here are bulbing up nicely, some more than others. I did give extra fertilizer this year. Something is eating the okra leaves, which is not great. So hopefully we get bigger bulbs this year. This one looks like it's already rotting, which is not great. I'm probably going to have to cut these and freeze them, but at least if I get bigger ones than I did last year, that would be encouraging. So this is your traditional calendula here. The one for the plant sale is the pink calendula. The resin is not as high, but it does the same thing. It's a great companion plant. It looks nice in the garden. It has the same properties. I did trim up some of the lemon balm and harvest that while it was at peak medicine qualities. I've been harvesting clover flowers. We've got a Brussels sprout here, which unfortunately it looks like it is already bolting. I do have some on here. They're very small. That will go into dog food. Just like the cabbages that bolted that I had to pull up a few days ago. But you can see some things are planted. Not everything is planted. Much to my dismay, but you do the best you can when you can. And this is where we're at. So here's more wild lettuce. This one does not have any aphids on it. Got a red lobelia here. Another wild lettuce. You can smell the honeysuckle. It smells really good. And that's in peak season. The meadowsweet is going to open up its blooms soon. The lovage is looking good. We've got our clary sage in here we started. We have skullcaps. The motherwort's kind of hidden back behind that geranium. The wormwood, which we've tinctured to treat the squash borers. Our marshmallow, another geranium. We've got a sage. More honeysuckle here. More wild lettuce back there. Some pokeberry. So something was in here. Probably bay. Because the bunnies are in here, so she sniffs them out. But we've only got one bunny killed this year, so that's a positive. But look, even the kale is bolting, which is not great, but I'm going to have to harvest it and freeze it. I don't really have any freezer space. That's the problem right now. We'll have to figure something out. If I had a freeze dryer, I could freeze dry it, but I don't have a freeze dryer. But if someone wants to gift me a freeze dryer, I will take it. Over here we have some blueberries, and they're kind of struggling this year. The birds usually get to them before we get to them. Unfortunately, we've tried many different things, and the birds will go under the nets, they will go under the fencing, they will just do their due diligence. Actually, we'll take the berries off when they're still green. So again, it's something like battling Mother Earth. You're not going to win. So some of it I know they're going to have, like even with the strawberries, the slugs, the chipmunks, the squirrels. I'm battling all of that. This digitalis got messed up in the rain. Oh, it's going to mess up my elderberries. You can see the flowers are ending and they're starting to form berries, which is exciting. We will have to cover them if I want any. But this one is looking good, but doesn't really have a lot of berries on it. Actually, a lot of they fell off. And that's typically what happens when it gets really hot really quick. Oh, look, there's a honeybee on there. Hi, Mr. Honeybee. Or Mrs. Honeybee. No, you're a mister, because most of them are males. So, the American is really big. You could see the difference in the size between the American and the Niagara. American's got like 2 feet on the Niagara. And those were all trimmed. All of them were trimmed this year. In the early spring. No, late winter, early spring. Yeah. So, plant sale, by the time you see this, will have been over. And it looks like I'm going to still have plants left. So if you live local, Suffolk County, New York, you want to message me in the comments and see what I still have left. And we could arrange for pickup. the ticks have been really, really bad this year. I actually also got 2 deer tick bites, which I have not gotten in a very long time, probably at least a decade. And that also set me back into a Lyme and Lyme co-infection flare. So it's been an interesting 2 weeks. But you can see the feverfews in bloom here. This is I forget what that is. I think it's a type of bee balm. I seeded it last year. It doesn't look like any of the other bee balms, but I kind of think that's what it was. But here, the groundhog was eating the violets yesterday. And in here, the squirrels and the chipmunks have been eating the strawberries. And I left the fake strawberries to try to fake them out. See, here's one of the pine berries. It's white with red, so it kind of fakes them out. But they started eating them before they even are fully ripe. These are some of the new ones I got from my gardener last year. They're ever-bearing, which means that they will go the whole season. Our other ones don't, so I thought that was a good option. But yeah, that's your garden roundup. I think I need to go inside. I'm feeling it just by talking and being out here with the wind blowing. It's still kind of bothering me. So until next time, see you guys soon.